Hi, I'm Scott, Dr. GX Goldfine, and I'm thrilled to welcome everyone to the first ever episode of Where'd You Get Your Funk From? For this momentous occasion, I wanted to feature a very special guest, and that we have in the person of icon Robert Cool Bell. This is the cornerstone of classics like Jungle Boogie, Hollywood Swing, and Funky Stuff, Summer Madness, Spirit of the Boogie, Open Sesame, Ladies Night, Celebration, Too Hot, Get Down on It, and dozens more. Now, this being the first show, allow me to explain what to expect. Where'd You Get Your Funk From is an open format video and audio podcast focusing on the here and now with a broad range of creative and artistic guests sharing fascinating stories, experiences, and perspectives. It's a welcoming avenue to newer and independent musical acts, as well as established artists and those that are still active in any genre. Also, authors, filmmakers, actors, artists, collectors, and archivists, radio and podcast personalities, journalists, scholars, sound techs, promoters, photographers, and other creative people. A common thread is the show's standard opening question: where'd you get your funk from? This is much deeper than it may seem at first because it need not strictly be about funky music, as not everyone has found the funk, so to speak. It could hit on whatever type of music that touches that person's soul or pleasure center. Additionally, the question extends beyond music. Paraphrasing George Clinton, funk is whatever it needs to be to get you over the hump. So guests can explain where they got their grit, perseverance, inspiration, talent, creativity, character, or other qualities that shaped them into who they are today. This serves as a springboard into candid, in-depth conversations. And so with that, here we go. One. It is so good to be joined for this episode of Where'd You Get Your Funk From? By the legendary bassist and leader of one of the most successful funk, R&B, and pop bands of all time, Robert Cool Bell of Kool and the Gang. He is the last original surviving member of a band that was founded 55 years ago, notching 25 top 10 R&B hits, 31 gold and platinum selling albums, and 7 Grammy Awards along the way. And this year is finally being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about that and much more. Cool, so good to see you again. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Appreciate you joining the show. So good to see you again. Where
Yeah,
are you today?
I'm at my home in Orlando. I'm in Florida right now.
Okay. Well, it's probably as crazy hot there as it is here today. I'm in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's hot down there too. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm in Jersey too up there. My main home is in Jersey. This is my second home. As you can see, this is my studio, my partner and I. And this is where we zoom from. Thank
Excellent. I love the backdrop too. Very cool.
you. I
So
love yours too.
thank you. Hey. Well, so we've talked before, and I want to just remind people for this interview, not going to talk that much about particular albums or songs because we did that before. So I want to urge viewers to go back and check out that Truth and Rhythm episode and check that out as well. So for now, we need to start out with the question that is the name of the show. So it's where'd you get your funk from? And there's two elements to it, cool. One is musically, where'd you get your inspiration? Where'd you get your funk from? Secondly, where'd you get it from in terms of your character and your makeup and who you are?
Well, I guess you can say that my phone came from Mr. James Brown back in the day because we used to play all his hits as There Was a Time and Cold Sweat and all that other stuff. He kept it funky. And then I think my funk and my style and the band style started from the Jazzy acts. Now, Ron Carter wasn't funky, but Carter played some nice stuff. Reggie Workman played some nice stuff. You know, and that's what we were doing. I mean, my brother was listening to John Coltrane, and listening to Cannibal Adderley, and Miles Davis, and Freddie Hubbard. So that's the jazzier side of it all. But the funkier side, like I said, had to be, because we used to have to play a lot of James Brown songs. Now, when we became a Soul Town band, and there was an organization in Jersey City called themselves the Soul Town Review. And we became the Soul Town band. They were trying to be like Motown. So in the Soul Town Review, you had different artists around Jersey City, did different things. There was a guy named Tiny Terry, and he loved James Brown. We had the funk with James Brown song, but Tiny Terry was good. He was keeping that funk alive. So that's how it all kind of came about. And we continued to build our songs with, funky stuff, funky man, funky granny, all that stuff we had in the 70s.
Yeah. And some people might not realize it, but you had 5 albums out as Kool and the Gang before Wild and Peaceful blew you guys up.
Yes, we did, like Good Times and our very first album,
Yeah.
Alive at the Sex Museum in Philadelphia. Yeah.
Yeah. Great stuff. So the flip side of that, Kool, then, and thank you for that, is, in terms of, who you are, your character, your personality, your perseverance, where'd you get your funk from in terms of that?
Well, my personality is, I guess, a evolution of my life, and my brother. We from Youngstown, Ohio. Got some funkers there. You got Ohio players, and, stuff coming out of it. But we left Youngstown in 1960, and we came to Jersey City, and we formed our first group, which became the other ones I mentioned, Jazzy X and all that stuff, but Kool the Gang at that time. And that's, I guess it was character. Well, here's a country boy leaving Ohio, coming to Jersey City, surrounded by Newark and New York. And I had to learn how to survive kind of like in the street. One day, my mother gave me some money to go to the store, and it gets at that time called Lucy bread, cost a quarter. I'm going to the store. Two guys walk up to me, give me your money. I said, what? Only had a quarter? Give me your money. So I had to go back and tell my mother what happened. And she said, boy, go back there and get my quarter. Anyway, not like that. So it was about character, about survival. How am I going to deal with this? So I ended up walking on the other side for a minute. We had a group called the Imperial Lords. I went up from the country boy to the leader. It's going to be, I don't want to talk too much about that because it's coming out in the doc and in the movie and in my possible musical that I'm working on.
Wow,
Oh,
fantastic.
be
You're,
cool.
God, got to look forward to that. There's a little advance idea on that coming. But I'm sure, of course, being on the road all those years, that's got to build up a lot of character.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've been around the world about 50 times. I mean, we were behind the wall when Berlin, it was when you had East Berlin and West Berlin. We were playing on the East Berlin side where they had the old Studebaker cars. Look like the sun never shine on that side of the wall. But we played over there too. And then into Poland, into Yugoslavia, into Romania. We've been. It's almost like one of my promoters, you call him George Light. They were like, "Man, are you Indiana Jones? You dare to go places other bands don't dare to go?" Yeah, we did a whole lot of stuff over the years.
Yeah, so you picked up so many lessons, and what's maybe one that you imparted on your son, when he goes out there and tries to entertain?
Well, my youngest son was with us when we played in Kenya. That was our largest audience, 500,000 people. And he was on the show. He goes by the name of Prince Hakeem, and he's doing quite well right now. He was on that particular show, and the thing was no glove, no love. And it was back to the black store in Klein because they were trying to get these kids or these teenagers to protect themselves against AIDS and other things. You couldn't tell them, not to have sex. They're gonna do it anyway. But at least wear a glove. So the whole thing was no glove, no love.
You didn't make a jingle to that, right?
No, no. I just said they're very different things in our career. Let me go back to Berlin again. We're coming to Checkpoint Charlie. The Gestapo, they get on the bus. Everybody out of the bed. Okay. Let me see your passport. So they gave us a rough time trying to cross that border. And then in the end, they said, hey, you got any t-shirts? Got some albums? I said, man, y'all just took us all. You want a t-shirt and an album? Things happen on the road, Scott, as you know. I'm quite sure other bands have a hell of a lot of different stories as well. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Cool. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame. So, it's a long time coming, and I'm among those that stuffed the ballot box, and was looking at it as you guys were kind of jockeying for position to get in there, and you finally made it. How did you feel about that process?
Well, we felt good about it because, it started with the fans voting. First, we're like in the top 10, and then we're top 8, and now we're 5, and then back up to 6. And the competition, I mean, you got Lenny Kravitz, and you had a lot of great musicians. And we didn't know if we were going to make it or not in all these years, but we hung in there, and our fans started to come alive. And finally, they made the call on the American Music Award, I believe it was, with Lionel Richie, and all said, Kool the Gang, along with Foreigner and, Tribe Called Quest, Dave Matthews Band, they all have made it into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That was a great show.
I can imagine.
That was a lot of competition, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys have the credentials. There's no doubt about it.
You're right about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So was it a little bittersweet because some of the guys aren't around to enjoy it, but thankfully you are, of course.
Of course. I mean, all my guys wanted to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. From my brother, Ronald Callis, George Brown. He was definitely. I told every time you got a manager, booking agent, we want to get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Can you do that? Some of them say, yeah, it never happened. But all things in time, it finally happened. I'm feeling very good about it. The part about my brothers who we started, I call them the Magnificent Seven. They can't go in there with me, but their spirit is there. So it's a great fit.
Absolutely. Have you ever been to the facility, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I've been there because they had a little display of us back there several years ago. They had a guitar, saxophone, something. But we were never inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like they've been a little slow getting some of the funk bands in there, especially. Is that something that has crossed your mind? Do you have any opinion on that?
What's the question again?
About them being slow to get funk-oriented bands into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Like it took so long for you guys, and there's a lot of groups like Ohio Players and War and on that are not in there.
Yeah. That's a good question, in terms of that. And the way I tell the story, it's called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We did 48 shows with Van Halen. We did 10 shows with Kid Rock. We opened up for the Dave Matthews Band, Paul Simon, Elton John, all that. I said, well, is it Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or is it rock and roll politics? I don't know. How come we can't get in there? But I'm happy about it. I'm just saying. It is what it is. They do what they do. The fact that they finally thought about us, and now we're on our way on October the 19th.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you guys are also helping break the door down a little bit, so others can follow too. That would be fantastic because I'm such a fan of the music. Um, what what should folks expect when they see you getting your award? And are you going to participate in any music at the event?
Well, I mean, the fact that the performance of it all, you only get about 7 to 10 minutes. We talk about 6 years. Our show's at 90 minutes. I mean, it's kind of like, how do we do this? But the fact that, hey, that's how they do it. So, well, the way in. I am talking about possibly coming back to Youngstown, Ohio, and doing a concert for all my fans who supported me in Youngstown and surrounding areas to come back and do a Kool the Gang 90-minute show and thanking our fans for bringing us in the Hollywood funk event. And then saying to them, this is what we do. This is Kool the Gang.
That would be awesome. Yeah, you're gonna have to do a medley of some kind, I guess, at the actual event,
Well, all
right?
the songs we have, yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah, 30
On
seconds.
Rock Hall of Fame, all we get is about 10 minutes. So, yeah. We'll do what we
Yeah.
can.
Now, who's in the band? Are there any guys in the band that have been in, for quite a while at this point?
Yeah, Curtis Williams been with me for about 35 years. Sean McCullough about 30 years. Mike Gray about 20 years. Most of my guys have been with me from 30 all the way up to about 15 years ago. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Um, I wanted to ask you for the bass players that watch and are fans, what are your favorite top three cool bass lines out of the entire catalog? Which ones do you really enjoy or you feel proud of?
Top three. One of them have to be funky stuff, you know. Because that's when we made that move. We did funky stuff, Jungle Boogie and Hollywood Swinging. But the record company said, well, you guys, you need to get the producer of Margot Domingo, so Makusa. We said, what? We went into the studio at like 8 in the morning, and we came on that studio. We had created funky stuff, Jungle Boogie, and Hollywood Swinging. So funky stuff would be one of them. Summer Madness. That would be another. Summer Madness. But there's a lot of others, but I have to say Ladies Night. Because my wife and I came up with the name Ladies Night. And JT had just joined the band. And I came back to the band and the guys. I said, man, I've been hanging out in New York, Studio 54, Regimes, my wife and I. And I said, well, I got a title. I said, what? I said, Ladies Night. And my brother said, wow, there's one of those all over the world, And George, who wrote the, what's the song? JT was involved with my brother. When George played the music for me, he said, I was coming from one of our meetings with our record company at the time. And I was just looking at people walking down the street. Dum, 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 dum. Imagine yourself in New York, people walking. I said, yeah. And that's when I played that bass line. Not knowing that record was going to be as big as it became. Because you got another one, they call another one like that's almost the same bass line. Okay?
Yeah, they were both huge hits and classics, and really kind of were, milestones of that era,
Yeah, yeah.
The thing about your style, Kool, is, you're so much in the pocket and in the groove and somewhat understated at times, but really just holding it all together. And is there any comment you can make to maybe aspiring bass players that you don't need to always be just flashy, but what you need to do is make sure you hold it down?
Well, that was my thing, holding it down.
Yeah.
In our music, because we created 90% of it, was always the foundation. Start with the drums, Mr. George Brown, then the bass, guitar, keyboards, and then the horns. So I wasn't, I guess you call it a so-called fancy bass player. You know, that ain't the groove to me. That's just showing them you can play all that stuff. Great. But where's the groove at? You know what I mean? Where is the groove at? And it's with the drummer and the bass. That's how we build a foundation. You know, I had people come to me. Jaco Pastorius came to me and said about my bass player. I said, Jaco, you one of the shoot, what did we put? Come on, man. He said, man, I like what you doing. I said, I definitely like what you were doing, but I do what I did, you did what you did.
Wow. Well, that's as high a praise as you can get from Jocko. That is something.
Yeah, he's a bass player, come on.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, other guys like Larry Graham and Reggie Workman, Jazz Crusaders. There's a lot of different guys out there that been doing anything.
But still, some of the best ones with the most unforgettable songs from that period are guys like, Marshall Jones and James Alexander. And, these are guys that just held it down like you and didn't feel the need to become the center of attention, but serve the songs.
Be a
So,
part of the band, to be a part of the groove, to stay
yeah.
in the foundation of what we did. That's what I did. I didn't go out playing with other bands and trying to do this and do that. Man. Everything we did was Kool the Gang. And
Hmm.
I was comfortable and still comfortable with just that.
Well, you guys have put out enough albums, that's for sure.
You're right about that now.
And still doing them. You had two albums in the past couple of years after a long time without any new material. What sparked doing new stuff again?
Well, my brother, before he passed, he came with the album called Perfect Union. We had a song called Pursuit of Happiness. That was one of the projects that we did. Pursuit of Happiness, he was inspired by when Biden was nominated, they played Celebration. And when he won, they played Celebration. And Pursuit of Happiness, if you listen to that song, it's about the perfect union. What would it be like if the world can finally come together again? We would have songs like Love and Understanding. Who's going to take the weight? Let the music take your mind. Music is the message. I remember when I was in Cuba, the first time we went down there, after they dropped the sanctions there, and the press from England was asking about, well, what do you think about being here, man? It's a great thing. And they also hit on some political. I said, listen, I'm a musician. I'm not a politician. You guys need to listen to the music. Let the music take your mind. Maybe we can get together sometime in the world. That's it.
Yeah. Well, those songs are convincing enough for me. I mean, they make you feel so good and they got the message and no one sounded like, you guys did on those songs for sure. Um, so I want to mention a couple of your other things. You're, involved in so much. You're quite entrepreneurial spirit, I guess, or you're, a Renaissance man, as they say. And you've got the Cool Kids Foundation. You want to tell folks a little bit about that?
Yeah. My wife, before she passed, asked me about how come there's no music in the school? How can we get music back into the school? So she and I together came up with the Cool Kids Foundation. And the whole thing about that, when we were coming up, you had music in the school. I mean, back in Jersey City, I was in the music class. I took the violin home. I didn't really like that. Cello home, like that either. But the key was to have the opportunity to even do that. That's not going on anymore. So that's what she came up with the idea of the Cool Kids Foundation. And we're still our fifth one. And we raised the money for kids in school, or kids who inspired to be musicians. I mean, we gave away some keyboards. All depends on what the need is out there. That's what we do.
That's fantastic. It must feel so good, to be
Oh
able to
yeah.
contribute that way.
Yeah. Let me tell you another little story about the Cool Kids Foundation. Um, I was on tour with Coca-Cola. It was called Cherry Coke, and it was called "It's Cool to Stay in School." We did 48 cities. We ride up into Oklahoma City. And three guys came up to us and said, "Hey man, we doing good in school. We ain't playing hooky and all that other stuff. We're trying to make it in school, but we like to sing something for you." So we said, "Okay." So they sang three of their a cappella songs. So my cousin and I said, "Wow, these guys sound good." So we sent it to our other cousin in New York, and he took them in the studio, started working with it. That group became Color Me Bad.
Wow.
The movie I Want to Sex You Up, Wesley Snipes, Jive Records, that came from that. So you
Wow.
never know.
Yeah, their first record, I assume was their first one, was like platinum. I mean, they were huge. I remember my wife saw them play back in concert at Long Island back then. I remember she tells me the story.
Oh
So
yeah,
interesting to hear where they came from like that.
yeah, they were definitely good. But that all was behind the whole school concept,
Hmm.
school education, music, etc., etc.
Fantastic. And then behind you, you have the champagne. So how did that come to be? And were you always an aficionado or what?
Well, I mean, I told you a little story about coming out of Youngstown, Ohio. I was sitting on the street and drinking some Thunderbird and on so good, and et cetera, et cetera, as a young kid. We're touring in Paris, in France. And the promoter said, "Well, you guys got about 20 sold out shows. Would you like to sell some champagne at your contest?" I said, "No. My fans want T-shirts, caps, and autographs." I said, "I want to get on the shelves." And he looked at me like, "You want to get on the what?" I said, "I want to get on the shelves, like Dom Perignon, Cristal, Veuve Clicquot, up in Ypres, where they make the champagne." So he said, "Okay, good luck." Anyway, I came up with the concept called the Cool Champagne. And my partner and one of his associates introduced me to the Berthelot family up in Ypres. And they became a manufacturer, a winery that created champagne. And I felt that with the name Le Cool, using part of my name, and that cool sounds French anyway. So I figure I'll make my entry into America like Eddie Murphy did in that movie. And that's what happened. We came in with a cool champagne, and we've been building it every year. We're on the Norwegian cruise ship. Right now, we're looking at Carnival cruise ship. We're looking at the Royal Caribbean cruise ship. I'm in Vegas now with Westgate. Got the champagne there, and it's growing. It's growing. But the good thing about it, Scott, is the fact that I tell people, if you don't like my champagne, don't say you like it because I'm cool. Okay? Say you like it because you like it. And 90% of the time, people say, "Oh, it's pretty good." But the Bertelos, those cartels, they all work together. You know, the Dom Perignon, all the grapes are coming from the same region, and the family's going back, into the 1800s. So I guess your question is, how did a boy from Youngstown, Ohio, make it up into the cartel?
Wow.
It's
That's
gonna be in the movie. It's gonna be in the documentary. It's gonna be all stuff. But the main thing right now, people are like, I just came out one called Summer Madness for the summer, and it's a half bottle, so it's a better price. It's a half bottle. We need to get you something out of there. Where you at now?
I'm in the Charlotte area of North Carolina.
We need to get you down. Let me get you a mixed case down there. You seem a big Kool the Gang fan anyway.
Oh yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
look into that.
Um, yeah.
First
I've
of
been
all,
a
you
fan.
drink champagne.
I've been a fan since junior high, or maybe even like
So
seventh
I said,
grade.
well, do you drink champagne?
Oh yeah, for special occasions, for
Okay,
sure. Yeah.
well, we're gonna get you something down.
Yeah, I'd love to taste it and just have it. That'd be fun. And I'm thinking I could see you, in the winery or whatever you call it, where they make the champagne, with your bass playing, adding more bubbles to it. If
My base is in our office in Ypres. I've been down into where they make the champagne. I was
Mhm.
just there. I just did. We did a little cool champagne in the Berthelot. We did a big party for all the champagne families about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Well, congratulations on that, and you're still doing shows, right?
Yes, we are. We close to almost 100 shows a year now. We just did 80 shows. I mean, 18 shows 3 weeks ago, all over Europe. And then my champagne, the gala, the opening of the Olympics, we had a cool champagne gala dinner during the opening of the Olympics.
Okay. So did you see Snoop down there? Seemed like he was everywhere on the TV. Anyway.
Let me tell you, it's over now. I'll tell you a funny story about that. I mean, let me go. They asked for Snoop to carry the torch. Snoop didn't get back to him, and the mayor, right before Olympic Village, was saying, "Well, think we can get Kool to carry the coach?" And then they looked at my schedule and said, "How the hell are you gonna get there? We played in Liverpool the same day. Sold them out, home of the Beatles." Finally, Snoop called, and the rest is history. I almost carried that torch, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. Um, so cool. Folks that see you today perform, what can they expect? Why should they come? What can they expect?
Well, our show is high energy. We put a show together in Vegas at the Westgate, and that show goes back to all my original members. The show opened up with Magnificent Seven, and then it goes. You gotta see it. That's all I can say. It's a great show. Well, I think it's a great show. Anyway, we're getting great reviews, right? That's what we're doing.
How's it feel to you to still be on the stage delivering that to the people?
I feel very good to me at the show we have now because all my guys are there. The show opened up with them, and people are looking and say, "Oh, wow!" We I'm bringing back the history of the guys that I started with. When people see that show, I have to say, God, they're kind of like blown away. They say, "Oh man, it's a great show." Now there's a
Well,
lot of great shows. Beyonce, big spectacular. It works for what we are and what we do, and it shows the history of what we're about.
is there any Kool in the Gang stuff that was not released that we may ever see one day?
There's a lot of that. We got a lot of stuff that's been released on albums that people don't even know about. Because on all our albums, there's different tracks on there. that wasn't the single. They go for what was popular, what the single was about. We got a lot of other stuff. We played like Sombrero Sam. We played a lot of different music, Caribbean Festival, Gucci. So it's a lot of. But we got my brother right now, before he passed, had over 600 tracks. Because that's all he did was track, 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 track. George Brown, who passed also, he might have a couple hundred. His album is just coming out next month. And also the other album called People Just Want to Have Fun. He was the major producer for that. My brother's project was called Perfect Union. So we have a whole lot of these.
So something new from George Brown's coming?
Yeah, next month.
Okay. I just read his book a couple of months ago. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah. So is there anything we didn't touch on? I want to make sure we cover all the bases. Any other message you want to get out to the people?
I think we pretty much covered it all. I'm working on a project in Africa with solar energy. You know, Dusty Baker is working with me on that project. And my whole thing is we had an album called Light of Worlds. I want to line up different spots in Africa using solar energy, not those old gas motors and stuff to create the power. Power comes from the sun. Light of worlds. Let's light up the world. That's it.
Yeah, and a good solution for global warming. And love that album. I think Higher Planes on that album.
Some of my managers on that album.
Yeah,
I was
excellent.
listening, you know, I haven't heard it in a while. I'm listening to it, and here comes the Fruit Man. I said, wait a minute, I forgot we recorded that. That's on the Light of Worlds out. Here comes the Fruit Man, bring fruit across the land. Yeah.
Classic stuff. I want to let everyone know, remind them, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction is October 19th, and it's going to be streamed live on Disney Plus, and then they're going to show on Hulu the next day.
Yeah,
so
that's what's happening on the 19th. And there's a
October
party
19th.
on the 18th. Actually, they're doing something, artists with spirit. Mary J. Blige has a wine. Dave Matthews Band has a wine. We have a champagne. Yeah. That's the day before the 19th. That's for the 18th.
All right, that's the pre-party.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you so much. Good to see you again, Kool, and congratulations on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I feel so great about that. I know the viewers do too.
Thank you, man. And
Be well, my friend.
For your support, as always.
And there you have it, the one and only Robert Kool Bell. What an enterprising fellow he is. I hope you enjoyed this debut episode of Where'd You Get Your Funk From, and that you make it part of your routine viewing. Please subscribe to the Funk and Stuff channel and like, share, and comment on episodes. Also, be sure to set your notification alert so you never miss a new video when it posts. As with Truth and Rhythm, the goal is to post new shows weekly. So that is Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube as world premieres, and then added to the funkandstuff.net website on Wednesdays, and subsequently available as audio-only podcasts through most leading providers every Thursday. Please reach out to me anytime at scottg@funkandstuff.net with comments, ideas, or guest requests. Also, if you can, please support this channel through YouTube's monetary features or submit donations at funkandstuff.net. Buy awesome music apparel like the shirt I am wearing. Where'd you get your funk from? There's also lots of apparel there of your favorite artists in multiple genres. So make sure you check out the Funk and Stuff store, and a small portion of the proceeds helps the channel, and it all adds up, and it's also appreciated. You can also obtain my book, Everything is on the One, The First Guide to Funk, at Amazon. And for all of it, I thank you sincerely for your interest and support. For now, until next time, This is Scott Dr. Jigs Goldfine asking, where'd you get your funk from?